Alright.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 27 of the Braindrizzle podcast. I'm your host, Q Dragon, and with me, as always, is Jack. And again, no guests, because we're sad and alone.
Yeah, nobody comes to our birthday parties.
So, hopefully, next week I'm still talking to, all of the real scientists related to the GMO documentary. So hopefully someone will be available next week. I'm also going to do a few more messaging of YouTube peoples. So we'll see if that works out.
Hey, if we can't get anybody, maybe we should just do an episode where we crank call people off of your Skype.
That sounds terrible. Okay.
Or awesome.
Before we get into the news, I wanted to bring up something. In the vlog this past Friday, I mentioned the idea of potentially using Subbable to maybe fund our shit. Unfortunately, one of the criteria right now is a community of around 5,000 people.
Oh, ouch. Harsh.
Yeah. So that kind of sucks. I guess that's not going to work out. So if you saw the vlog and were wondering, I guess that's not happening.
That is unfortunate. Maybe one day.
Indeed.
Maybe one day.
But I mean, I guess we could try, just monthly Indiegogos.
Yeah, we could kind of do something like that on our own. I mean, I do... My desktop is poop right now.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can probably wait another week, so I might, on the next vlog, next Friday, I might just be like, so that's not going to work out. What do you guys think of a monthly Indiegogo?
Okay. You heard it here first.
Yeah, so, and if you think that maybe you could contribute $5, every month, let us know, because I was thinking, around $150 a month.
That would be awesome.
Because that would be, only 30 people donating, $5.
Yeah, and then we could get all kinds of cool equipment. I could actually get a setup so that I'd be able to deliver video more often, and I know you guys like that. However, my equipment setup right now just isn't conducive to being able to make that work out every week. I won't go into details because they're boring.
Yeah. And another idea I had is that once we're sort of set for equipment, which honestly would be 6 to 8 months of saving for that amount of money, I was thinking maybe we could save up the monthly donations and try and go to science or tech conferences or something.
Yeah, and then report live from there. Basically tackle and lasso live interview victims, unsuspecting, without warning.
Although I don't know how that would work if only you went.
Yeah, because generally speaking, it works best if you're able to corner them between two people.
Yeah.
And then put the camera in their face. Just something I've learned from experience.
And traveling for me is not the easiest, but one of my big goals, if funding did work out, would be for both Jack and I to go to VidCon next year.
Yes.
So, that's boring stuff, but if you think you would be interested in supporting us in that way, again, because we are very small, all of the money would go to equipment and directly supporting the content.
Yeah, that's our main goal. I mean, we'd probably be able to attract more viewers and grow and be able to make the show, because we're making the show better if we were able to meet those equipment goals. And, well, America is kind of still in that recession, so...
Anyway, alright, let's get to the news.
Okay, dokie. I will stop complaining about the hard times. Man, we're gonna have some shit to talk on our grandkids. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Okay, so
in my day, you had to wait to get a new organ.
back on very, very long lists, and people died waiting all the time, and you had to wait for somebody else to die. It was either you or a stranger. Think about that.
And then you would murder a stranger for their liver.
It happened.
Speaking of liver,
Oh!
Coffee and tea may contribute to a healthy liver, researchers say.
Yes.
Did you see that amazing segue?
I did. That was smooth as ice.
So this is an international team of researchers analyzing in cell cultures and animal models caffeine on non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which actually apparently affects like 30% of adults in America.
Oh, ouch. Ugh.
Like the only treatment is healthier living.
Mm. Yeah.
So the study suggests that caffeine actually induces some metabolism of fats in the liver, like directly.
That's good. Get those.
So
Get all those. Get all those devil cakes and Twinkie bits that are sitting in your liver. Which the Twinkie bits are probably still edible if you think about it.
Yeah, but yeah. So caffeine may just do that. So if you drink tea or coffee, it could help you out.
Definitely. Come on. What more justification do you need? It's not bad for you. It's good for you.
I don't mind tea, but I don't drink out of tea or coffee. So I guess I'm fucked.
You heretic. You call yourself a vlogger.
I know, right?
What's the world coming to?
Although in my defense, I'll drink the shit out of some Earl Grey.
Fuck yeah.
Hot, of course.
Earl Grey. Hot.
So I thought that was cool, and also an interesting thing they mentioned at the end of this article is that they could also model anti-fatty liver disease drugs off of caffeine.
Ooh.
So basically, they could be like, okay, caffeine with none of the perking you up side effects, but just focusing on the fat metabolism.
That would that also become a weight loss pill, or would it only apply to the liver?
I think caffeine specifically triggers the metabolism of fats in the liver.
Got it. Good.
Yeah.
And for liver disease that is induced by McDonald's and not alcohol, correct?
Yeah, well, this study specifically looked at non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in mice.
Gotcha.
So the mice were fed a high-fat diet. They developed fatty liver disease, and then they were given caffeine, and it helped.
And so the liver disease that is caused by alcohol is a different type of disease. Doesn't involve fats?
No, I think it results in fat pockets in the liver.
Ah.
But it's from damage by the alcohol.
Okay, got it. But
so I think theoretically this could also help that, but it didn't mention.
Okay, so it just wasn't tested on, but it could help. Help with the fat deposit, but not necessarily healing the damage, unless the fat deposits were obstructing the liver from healing the damage on its own. I don't know how the liver works. You see.
Well, the liver is pretty resilient. In terms of human organs, it's one of the best at regenerating.
Ah.
So again, it didn't mention it because it's looking at non-alcoholic, because I guess the non-alcoholic form of fatty liver disease is way more common than the alcohol-induced.
Yeah. Yeah, believe it or not, a lot of times within severe alcoholics, the kidneys go out first.
Yeah.
The renal failure.
So yeah, I don't know how that would apply. But I guess you could drink a lot of Four Loko and see what happens.
And let the battle begin.
Yeah, it's just caffeine and alcohol battling in your body.
If you don't, it's like if you don't die in a bar fight first, see who's won.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. No good segue, but I think Jack, you and I could use this.
Yeah?
Some researchers from the University of Washington, or some engineers rather, have developed wireless devices that are battery-free.
What you talking about?
I'm being serious, yo. They work by reflecting and redirecting ambient signals in the environment.
Dude.
So, like, TV and cell signals, they just sort of, like, bounce that shit around and can communicate without consuming power.
Yeah, we come out with this just in time for broadcast television to become obsolete. Man, damn it. Our timing sucks.
I mean, it works with any, like, there's a shit ton of signals in the air.
This is true.
Like cell phone and all that shit.
Oh, goody. We're back in business.
So, like, they need to be pretty close right now because they're, like, prototypes. So they work within, like, 2.5 feet outdoors, 1.5 feet indoors, but they work with each other up to, like, 6 miles away from a tower.
That's cool.
So the idea is that you just put these things everywhere, and they connect to sensors and, like, just pass along information.
Oh, kick ass.
Or you have, like, cell phones with an emergency mode, where it's like you have no battery, but you can still send a text.
Oh my god. Hey, do you think this is what, like, Tesla was on about with, like, giving, like, the free wireless electricity?
Not really, because again, it's not really electricity. It's just the idea that technology doesn't need power. It just sort of repurposes the signals that are already in the air.
Dude, that is some next level fucking. That is straight up witchcraft. Is what that is?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, obviously the bandwidth isn't very big, but it's still awesome.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
And just this is my idea, by the way. University of Washington engineers, if you're listening, this is a freebie. Is that you put these things everywhere, and they're like sensors or whatever, and then in an emergency situation, if let's say the cell towers go down or whatever, you have machines that can just broadcast gibberish for like a little power, and then that way you can still use the no power system. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Cell towers are down. Cue Operation Shatner. Broadcasting Shatner's first album on loop.
Yeah, so basically you just broadcast gibberish, and that way the powerless redirecting technology has something to work with, and you can still communicate in like some sort of emergency situation.
And you make all the hipsters happy because the hipsters are the only ones who still listen to AM radio. You would be broadcasting Shatner on AM radio because, well, it's more powerful and it's shorter band, but it's more powerful. You see? No, it's longer band. Yeah. AM radio is longer band, so that would be the obvious choice.
Yeah, so I just thought that was really cool. I'm like, how is this not everywhere? Like in the news, because it's so freaking sweet.
I know, right? We're about to have phones without power. We'll be able to text.
Yep.
I mean, that is some straight up shit that you would see in a scary movie with like ghosts and shit.
Like that would like ruin every horror movie. It's like, oh, my phone's dead. Oh well, it's okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, I guess it depends on having signal.
Well, they would have to have convenient landslides that like bury the phone. The phone would have to get dropped in a river or something like that. We'd be making those horror writers run for their money.
Yeah, really.
Considering the amount of old horror films where the plot never would have happened if cell phones if cell phones were common in the 80s. You know, this is... Man, Those psycho killers are really gonna have to step up.
I mean, if serial killers existed now, I mean, I'm sure they do, but, like, if, like, horror movie serial killers existed, like, before they get a murder in, they're vined.
Seriously. It's all over the internet.
Yeah. Crazy. So, it wouldn't be my segment of news without a little more biology.
Dun 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 dun.
And now, this sounds terrifying, but it's good news, really.
Oh, yeah?
So scientists from Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, which is a fucking mouthful.
Damn, it is.
Have been able to selectively evolve hyperswarming bacteria.
So now bacteria can swarm. Great. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Thank you for that.
But get this, it actually might be a good thing.
For who?
Follow me. The hyperswarming bacteria are less stable in a biofilm. And when you're infected, that's the real kicker, is the bacteria form a biofilm, and then they can resist antibiotic.
Ah, I see.
So I basically grew bacteria on a medium. By the way, it was a Pseudomonas, which I'm colonized with. Fuck you, Pseudomonas.
Fuck Pseudomonas right in the spew port. Right in the pore, yeah, right in the anus. I know they don't really have anuses, but I couldn't remember what it was called.
Right in excretory vacuole.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. That's why I called it a spew port.
And anyway, but so basically they grew it on a medium where that if the bacteria could travel further, they would have an advantage. And normally Pseudomonas have only one flagella, but these guys had like a bunch of flagella eventually. What?
I'm just imagining all like the normal Pseudomonas just being like tra-la-la, life is great, and then these like motherfuckers come along.
And it was interesting because they said they could like make it happen every time with new populations.
Kick ass. Your life might get way better in the next couple of years.
So basically it was like a single point mutation in a regulatory gene that controls the formation of the flagella. So the idea is that if you could make a drug that somehow introduced this characteristic into someone who had Pseudomonas, that, okay, they're hyperswarming now, but they're not in a biofilm anymore.
Sweet.
So I thought that was cool, and it's just evolution again, just right fucking there.
Woohoo!
So yeah, that's all I got. What you got, Jack?
What I got. Okay, so apparently, you know, those motherfucking goat herders, as the internet is so fond to call them, the people and civilizations from a couple of millennia ago. Like, the artists and craftsmen back then actually had techniques for basically thin film coating and stuff with metal.
What?
Yeah. That they can basically actually put thinner coats of stuff evenly on intricate surfaces better than we can. Like, these 2,000-year-old statues and idols and shit.
Sorry, hold on.
What?
Please tell me that one of these is from the Mongol Empire.
I don't know, probably.
I'm saying, like, what area are these civilizations from?
Let me look.
Is it like Asia or Europe or Middle East?
Well, there's the Saint Ambrosio Golden Altar from 825 AD has this technique in use. So I'm guessing that this would be
Europe.
Western. No, seriously, the Dark Ages actually had, like, straight-up old-school techniques that are able to put a thinner film more evenly over bumpy, intricate surfaces, perfectly evenly over these surfaces. That is better than what we can do today.
So how? Or do they not know? There's I don't know.
They don't know yet, but they're trying. Basically, they've confirmed that it is better than we can do, and they're trying very, very hard.
So is it like metal on metal, or another material on, like, a hard surface?
Well, I think it's metal on metal. It doesn't really, like, I can't see where it says. I do know that they figured out that they used mercury like a glue to apply thin films of metals to stuff. Like, it's like gold and silver, so these are soft metals that they're using.
Right.
But yeah, it's unbelievably sophisticated, and we can't figure out how to do it. But the good news is, see, this is my dead reckoning from this story, is that we could potentially, if we could figure out how they did this, we could potentially use those same principles to make way better electronics, or smaller electronics.
That's crazy.
Yeah, motherboards that don't fuck up like mine did.
You're just very bitter, aren't you?
It's like, seriously, this thing, the pinnacle of the modern world, the computer, and all the shit's put on there in a way that is inferior to what the so-called goat herders did 2,000 years ago, man. I mean, it just kind of goes to show that people really do underestimate the ancient cultures. Humankind has gone through, discovered, and developed techniques that have been discovered, rediscovered, and lost. And some techniques have been lost, and we have yet to find them out. There's some techniques that we will never even know existed, and we'll think that we discover it the first time when we do discover it.
So what you're saying is steampunk is possible.
Steampunk is possible.
Because, I mean, if they can do this shit, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we could figure this shit out. I mean, honestly...
I wonder if it was the first person to realize that it was better. Like, was he just examining something and he's like, wait a minute. Well, fuck me.
Well, I mean, if you look at these very pretty pieces of art, you can see that the way that the gold and the silver is on there is perfectly awesome. Like, better than what... Like, basically, it's like what we do with the stamping the coins, where it's just like one solid piece of metal. However, this is very, very micro-thin gold and silver that has been spread over these. Now, the techniques were... I'm guessing the techniques were probably developed because the artisans, were asked to cover something very, very large with as little gold as possible and still make it shiny, and they rose to the occasion.
Yeah.
Just like years of trial and error and just straight up MacGyvering shit managed to serve as the process to perfect these things. I'm guessing it was literally economic pressure. And I think that perhaps we have not replicated it because there aren't the same social conditions to apply that same kind of economic pressure. Because these aren't priceless works of art being commissioned by the uber-rich and the churches. These are... What we try to do this with is, electronics and solar panels and DVDs and
mass-produced stuff, basically.
Yeah, basically, where the techniques we use have been sufficient enough.
Yeah.
And the development is going in a different direction. It's not necessarily going to conservation.
Yeah, but I would really like to see, like, artisan DVDs. It'd make no sense, but just, like, finely crafted metal and plastic. It took someone, like, 7 days to make. It has a copy of fucking, like, Batman on it or something.
That would be... That is Dubai level frivolous right there. You do realize that.
Yeah, it's like... I chiseled in every bit of data by hand.
Holy shit.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, that...
Okay, that's enough of that.
Okay. Moving on, you bourgeois pig. Okay, so... Like, okay, this is really interesting and actually kind of freaky. Like, apparently, art skills get preserved, sometimes with, dementia. Like, there's this lady who had, like, vascular dementia. She was like a Canadian sculptor, and she was able to draw spontaneously from memory and also do portraits of people. Okay, let's see. This was reported in the Canadian Journal of Neurological Sciences, and it was done at St. Michael's Hospital. And okay, this lady. Okay, it's like Dr. Louis Fornazari talked to this woman, Mary Hecht, who had lost, like, day-to-day memory functions and skills. Like, she was in advanced dementia. Like, she couldn't draw the correct... She couldn't, like, draw the right time on a clock. Like, a picture of a clock, she couldn't draw the right time. And people would, like, ask her questions or to remember words. Like, 5 minutes later, she wouldn't be able to remember anything. But she could, like, draw a freehand sketch of a lying Buddha and then redraw it again from memory a few minutes later when she couldn't even remember the word cat from a few minutes ago.
That's crazy.
I know, man. And she would, like, draw stuff and show them to the staff and everything. She would draw, like, people who were visiting there. There's this one dude who died. She heard that he had died on the radio. It was, and she actually, like, it was a famed cellist. It was a cellist, Mstislav Rostropovich, and she was able to draw an accurate picture of him from memory after hearing that he died on the radio.
Wow.
And I'm assuming this lady can't even feed herself without help.
That's awesome.
I know. There's, like, this isn't, like, the first time this has happened either. Like, the same doctor, Dr. Fornazari, like, wrote this paper talking about this musician with Alzheimer's disease who could still play the piano and learn new music.
Wow.
It's
I'd be more articulate, but there's not much I can say.
Yeah, this is actually scientific evidence as to why it's important to have art and music education in schools. Because of the fact that the way we remember that skill and the way that we preserve that skill is apparently very unique.
Well, I'm fucked.
I mean, well, come on, you got your art. You do stuff.
What?
You do stuff.
What stuff do I do?
Well, you did some free 3D modeling back in the day, and you designed merch.
Back in the day.
And
yes.
you've got that like alchemy art project going.
Yeah, it's sort of on the back burner.
Oh, come on, that project is awesome. And
I know, but I'm busy. I have many things. I'm building a fucking forge in my backyard. That's the whole thing.
Yes. But get back to that art. Audience,
I know.
Get on his ass about this.
I will, hopefully.
Please.
I know. I just gotta read some more shit.
But yeah, anyway, so they're gonna try to... These people are gonna try to do, like, a bigger study of artists to basically try to outline exactly how art helps cognitive brain capacity. And,
I wonder if sorry, go ahead.
And, like, pretty much prove beyond a shadow of a doubt scientifically that we need art and music in schools.
I was wondering if that would work with people who weren't necessarily artists.
I don't see why not. I mean,
just say, hey, draw person with dementia to just draw something and be like, okay.
I mean, if they hadn't really... Well, it'd be interesting to see if they could develop the skill from scratch, or if they needed to have the skill previously.
Yeah.
Like, the thing doesn't say one way or the other. They might not even...
I'm sure they'll look into that.
I'm sure they will. Alright, so, speaking of freaky brains and music from people with dementia, or other problems, there's this lady, right? She was a 60-year-old woman, and when she'd fall asleep, she'd suddenly start hearing music, as if, like, there was a radio playing inside her head, or in the back of her head. And basically, she would hum the tunes, or sing the tunes, and they were, like, popular tunes, and her husband would recognize the tunes, but she wouldn't be able to identify the tunes when she heard them. Like, she wouldn't remember what the song was, and her husband would.
That's weird.
But this is actually the first known case of somebody hallucinating music that they didn't recognize, but other people around them did.
Huh.
So basically they're looking at this case to try to learn more things about, like, lost memories. Possibly to figure out, like, you know, when you lose a memory, is it actually gone, or is it just rendered temporarily inaccessible?
Sort of like in the computer, when you delete something, it's still there, but it's just, like, available to be overwritten.
Exactly. Like, I'm wondering if that's how it is. But, like, she would hear, like, the same song for, like, months straight, and then the song would, like, change. I wonder if maybe, like... This is just something that came to my mind. Like, what if she basically... Her brain was replaying every single memory of her hearing that song over and over again. And it turns out that when you have the radio on in the background, like, shit got overplayed, even back in the day. Could you imagine, like, randomly hearing Little John for, like, 4 months, like, when you get older?
Well, I don't listen to music, so...
What?! Okay!
I really don't, really. I'm weird. Goddamn, I'm just fucked if I get dementia or something.
Yeah! But yeah. Anyway, so apparently, like, hallucinating music is something that happens a lot in older people. And a lot of the conditions that cause it, or are, like, predisposing factors, are, like, brain damage, epilepsy, intoxication, and depression, schizophrenia, obsessive-compulsive disorder, but the most common is hearing impairment.
Huh.
Yeah, so apparently losing...
Well, I guess your brain's like, I can't hear anything, I better make something up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just kind of a sensory deprivation effect, which, I mean, if you think about it, it's just like losing a sense beats out schizophrenia and making you have a specific type of hallucination. Holy fuck. Like,
yeah.
Like, hearing impairment is, you know, any kind of impairment actually can have pretty deep psychological effects that a lot of people just take for granted or don't even realize. Like, did you know that hearing impairment can lead to, like, straight up paranoia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine. I would freak the fuck out.
I mean, think about it. It's just like, your hearing's impaired, so you end up paranoid because, you know, you can't... Because you're losing one of your senses, so you have to be more alert, so it leads to paranoia. And then your brain tries to fill in the gaps. Like, these aren't even just straight up deaf people. These are people who just, like, are hard of hearing. And then your brain fills in the gaps with the music. I mean, you lose your hearing, and all of a sudden, there's voices singing songs, and everybody's out to get you. Fuck that.
For some reason, I think this would make an awesome concept for a video game.
Yeah, you know,
like some kind of strategy or shooter, but like in like an urban environment where just the volume is just really low, and then in certain events in the game, you just start hearing random music.
Kid, that'd be creepy as hell. But you know what's messed up? You know what the freaking insurance companies? There are insurance companies out there that won't cover hearing aids.
That's pretty messed up.
If your hearing is only a little bit impaired. It's just like, sorry, we see that as optional. Enjoy your hallucinations and paranoia. Fuck.
Yeah.
Man. Sucks.
I wonder if you could induce that with like really good earplugs.
I almost have half a mind to try that.
Maybe you shouldn't. Sounds like a really bad idea, actually. I wonder, can I make myself paranoid and hallucinate? Let's find out.
Yeah, I think that might not be the best idea for me.
Kids don't try it at home.
However, if somebody in the audience wants to give it a shot, preferably somebody sane.
And we're not legally liable at all.
Yeah, somebody sane who has full health insurance and a strong social support network, have at it. Not saying I endorse it. I'm just saying, seriously.
Get some bows, and just put them on your ears.
Yeah, just don't. No, seriously. That's fancy talk for seriously. Do not try this at home. You need to be living within an ideal situation for that to be safe.
Even then,
Even then, you're still gonna hallucinate and get paranoid. Who wants to do that?
Yeah, have fun with that.
Have fun with your sensory deprivation induced bath salts trip.
Although, really, a lot of people voluntarily do go into sensory deprivation tanks and stuff.
Yeah, so they can trip balls. Yeah.
So enjoy the random music. I think that's the episode, Jack.
Enjoy the random music, and it'll all be songs you hate.
Oh, episode title.
Dance to the music you hate.
Enjoy the random music. I think that's a good episode title.
Alright, enjoy the random music, folks. We will leave you to your fate. To your fate. To your fate.